I'm Cullen Haynes, and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, episode 42. Cannot believe we're at episode 42. The last 3 years I've been doing this. But my next guest is a LinkedIn pioneer, has been on the platform since we started Legal Home Loans back in 2018. We both kind of were the, I guess, pioneers are the ones in the arrows in their backs, right? So we were the first ones to start utilizing video, but now everyone's doing the video. But he is a leading author, founder, coach, and has been, turning the world on its head for a sport for the last 5 years and almost a decade for what he's been doing. So can you please make very welcome the one, the only, the Mr. Martin Stark. And we're going to be talking about being the courage champion. Welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, mate. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Cullen. There's me scratching my nose just as though you're bringing me on board. Welcome and welcome, everybody.
Oh, fantastic, my friend. And this is live, guys. This is going live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X, and Instagram Live. Can you please put your burning questions anywhere, and I will do my best to cover it. We can ask this absolute powerhouse those questions. But, mate, everyone's wanting to know what is happening in Martin Stark's world right now, the courage champion.
Oh, what's happening? So right now I'm writing my second book. And I'm also writing my third book. So this is, I'm going to plug myself. This is my first book, Courage, Your Right Hook. Probably can't see it there. Courage, Your Right Hook.
Get on it. Get on it. I've got it in the show notes.
Got it there. And I published that this time last year. And my second book, the working title is A Year of Courage. And I've been writing a diary all of this year. For most days, I've missed out about 3 weeks when I was sick, but I've just been writing whatever is on my mind of the day, like a courageous thought. So that's my next book. And I'm writing a novel. I've written the second draft of a novel. So lots of writing, and I'm helping clients with their confidence, their leadership aspirations, and journey of courage.
Who would you say your client is? It's professional sports people. Like, obviously, we've got, quite major networks on LinkedIn. You're a LinkedIn top voice. So who is your tribe? Who are you calling out to, my friend?
So my clients in terms of leadership development and confidence building would be business owners and entrepreneurs who just want to remove those self-doubts, get a bit more clarity in what they're doing and the courage to persevere. And the second are professionals. So a lot of CFOs have self-doubt due to imposter syndrome. So helping anybody who's a leader remove those self-doubts. But there's also those aspiring business leaders. You might be a senior manager, a director in the law firm, you want to be a partner. So helping aspiring leaders and executive leaders to really step up their confidence and be the purposeful and courageous leader they want to be.
I absolutely love that. I'll absolutely love that. And you've had such a storied journey to get to where you are right now. How would you explain your role using just film titles, my friend?
The Iron Man and Game of Thrones have both used my surname, Stark. The best story is your
Tony
story.
Stark and the Stark family.
And the Stark clan, but the best story is the Stark story. So my story is far better than Iron Man or Game of Thrones. And I'm not being hubris about this because I believe storytelling is the most impactful form of communication. And your story that you share is the best story you can share. So the movie is my story, and it's better than anything that's fictitious because your story is the most important story, because your story is what connects you with your customers when you want to go for a job. So that would be my movie.
I love that. And you're such a prolific author, and you are known as the courage champion. So I'd love to ask, what sparked your interest in helping leaders, and teams make courage as a habit? It's not something you hear outside the Wizard of Oz. Courage. I need some courage, as the lion said.
It just became part of what I do without even realizing it. So I was courageous without realizing how courageous I was, because I wasn't fully believing myself until around 2016. I just won an award for one of the top 1% of employees in a bank. And my manager wrote in my performance review, I'd like Martin to be more courageous. And that just changed everything. Now, I've been courageous in surviving comas, in going through a tracheotomy. I've now been in hospital almost 80 times. I've had 4 major surgeries. So I've had to be courageous to get through that. So it was when I fully embraced courage, and I have the word tattooed on my back, that I made courage a key plank,
Yes.
my message. And it's what other people say about you is what story lands. And the words people were saying, you're so brave, you're inspirational, you're so resilient. So it's what other people were telling me, is then I led into what I do in my business.
It's obviously you're building castles out of the bricks that life is throwing at you. You're an author, keynote speaker, and founder of the World Gay Boxing Championships. So tell us more about some of those initiatives and those achievements, my friend. It's absolutely incredible.
So it just was an extension of my story. So at the end of 2017, I almost died from a rare disease I have. And that experience brought back memories of being in comas and the nightmares I had in comas. So to help combat PTSD, I underwent self-defense training, fell in love with the sport of boxing, and then I wanted to go to the gay games. I was calling myself the future world gay boxing champion. I wanted to win a gold medal for Australia. Realized boxing wasn't on the list of sports, so
Yes.
I decided, why don't I create, so one of the biggest problems in sport, homophobia, and create the world's first gay boxing competition, including allies and non-members of the LGBTQ plus community. And then that became part of my story, harnessing courage. I was interviewed by CNN, The Guardian. One of Vladimir Putin's best friends has shared a story about me on his Facebook page. I've
That's
condemned
incredible.
JK. Just speak it out. I've spoken out against JK Rowling and Jake Paul for bullying. So it's all of that. And then you bring that back to people. What are people scared of and why? So if as a leader, if you can role model something, but you role
Yes.
model you stepping up, you overcoming those challenges, building rapport, building relationships, I think that's the best experience you can share as a leader. And then you guide people through your learning, through your wisdoms. And I have a process which I call PACE, which is your purpose leads to your actions. That creates the confidence and excellence. Because as a leader, the best place to start with anybody is where they're at. It could be your customer, could be your team, could be a prospect. Take somebody from where they are right now to where they want to be. And it's like A to B with C, but you help them see. If you get what I'm trying to
I
say.
like that. A to B to C, but have them be C. I love that. And guys, we're a quarter of the way through the stream. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Please, we are live. It is now 5:17 Australian Eastern Daylight Time here in Sydney. Please put your burning questions to this absolute behemoth in the comments, and we will endeavor to get to them during the show. I've got certainly a list of absolutely fantastic questions to talk to you about there, Martin. What's a surprising skill, case in point, or mindset that has helped you lead with courage, my friend?
It's my definition of courage, which is taking ownership of fear, venturing forward with confidence and resilience. So my biggest fear saved my life. My biggest fear removed my voice, but gave me a voice. So my biggest fear was always a tracheotomy. So just before my second coma, the one thing that saved my life was a tracheotomy. And when I woke up, this was my voice because my vocal cords are damaged. So I had to learn to overcome the pain of having a tube in my throat, not being able to talk, and then learn how to speak with my voice, but also use my voice of advocating courage. And I say that because with fear, we avoid pain. If something's painful, you go to see a doctor, you take antibiotics for a week, the earache's gone. But how often do we avoid something because it's painful? But You've taken the antibiotics a week later, the earache is gone, and you're confident, you move forward and you become more resilient. We all did that 5 years ago during COVID. How resilient, how did we overcome the pain of not being able to go to work, changing our businesses, all of those things? We did that. And it's proved to the world, well, why did we stop being courageous and resilient? Because the world has gone back to how it was, although it's slightly changed. And that's what I help people with.
I absolutely love that because you're literally and metaphorically giving yourself a voice and others a voice. I think that's incredible. And like, using your voice, you've delivered talks for LinkedIn, TikTok, Commonwealth Bank, New South Wales Health. What's the secret to not only being invited on these stages, but inspiring diverse audiences?
It really is having a simple message which is purposeful and rooted in your core values, and just sharing that consistently. It's easy to have a message and
It
just
would be.
blurt it out day after day after day. But as a leader, as a business owner, it needs to connect with your customers, with the market for future customers, and with your team, the people delivering the services. They've got to feel themselves part of the story. They have a role to play, creating that sense of belonging, that excitement. You're helping them achieve their goals. Now, to speak on stage is such a privilege. If you've ever heard an actor talk about they love speaking, they love the theatre rather than film because they get the connection with the audience. And as a speaker, you get that connection with the audience to look somebody in the eye, or you see the emotion and journey that they're going through, and you're helping them unlock their confidence and wisdom. And that's how you do it. And you do it consistently, you build rapport, you build trust. And that's how you get the honor of being invited. It's always a privilege to be invited to speak. If it's part of your business and you want to do it, it's always a privilege to be invited to speak in front of people.
OPSs, as they say, and I think the Cardone network, other people's stuff. It is a rare privilege to be able to do that, because it means you're not just spruiking, you're actually giving value, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And the difference that I think you're doing. But you're speaking at all these events, you're doing amazing things with your writing, you're doing amazing things online. How does Martin Stark, both from the and the Game of Thrones universe, unwind after a particularly high pressure day?
Before the day, so before I do a keynote, my tip is I have a green tea, because I calm down beforehand and I get relaxed. And I make sure after I find space for me. That could be I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I do things that I enjoy for me, and I make sure I have space and time for that. Because if I don't, having a rare disease where my body doesn't produce cortisol, which is your stress hormone, Martin suffers. So just finding that time, finding that space. I once shared a hospital room with somebody who was admitted with suspected heart issues, who wouldn't stop working. And I said to him, whatever's happening right now, your heart is more important than any email or phone call. And I think if you don't take care of you, who else is going to take care of you?
It's very poignant, isn't it? Working to the point of almost near death, exhaustion, sickness, but still working. It's kind of crazy. Like the mind just didn't compute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But it's a harrowing story, and thank you for sharing that one there, Martin. But I guess in terms of that, where do you see leadership, personal leadership, taking accountability, organizational culture, and things evolving in the next 10 years, in your opinion, with the advent of AI and all these things?
I don't see leadership changing in the next 10 years, because I don't think leadership has changed in the last century in terms of the core tenets of leadership. And it comes back to my core point of having a simple message, of having a purpose rooted in values where other people connect to your story feel part of the story, and want to achieve their goals and become more tenacious, resilient, grit, have that clarity, have that confidence to overcome the challenges. I mean, I'm 50 now. I hopefully I don't look 50, but I remember as a child where they were saying computers, it's going to destroy businesses. We've been using typewriters.
Yes.
We have files and files of ledgers. I can go back to 1935 or 1906, and the computer is going to change everything. But it did, it changed things for the better. Now, with AI, I think AI has good points, but I think the ethics in there is what, as human beings, we need to be at the forefront. But AI has been around for centuries. The punch cards in the first looms, AI was used in software. Can you remember predictive text when that became a thing? You were texting on your
Yes.
phone. That was so. It's nothing new. It's very different. It's very rapid, but the core tenets of your purpose, your vision, how you're using AI, your voice, that shouldn't change. It's what you do with it that makes the most impact.
Well said. Well said. And you're right. It has been around for ages. And I think Emma Thompson did a nice viral video the other day about it's good, but also it invaginates every area of life. You might be writing your diary or something, right? And then it says, would you like to use AI to improve this? No, I don't. I just want to write in my diary, or I just want to write a piece that's just for me, that doesn't need to be improved or add M dashes where it shouldn't,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And you probably resonate with that, right? Just having the ability to write unfiltered, write as badly as humanly possible, as one of my mentors once said back in the day. You
Grammarly
can't
as an
edit a
author,
blank page.
that
Yeah,
as an author, Grammarly is very good at making beautiful text boring.
of course. Yeah, good point, actually. Beautiful text, boring.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. And on that note of, writing projects and otherwise, is there any passion projects or initiatives you're working on right now that you might be able to share with us as we go towards the end of the stream, my
So
friend?
I developed a leadership program called the Courage Accelerator, and it was based
Yes.
around my 20 years of experience in the corporate world and lots of leadership experience, but also the core learnings from my book. And I created 3 workbooks. I've had a few people I've helped. And it's my previous point about starting from the journey of where you're at. So I have a courage survey where
Yes.
get you to, but I introduce you to courageous thinking. You go for a job interview, tell me a time when, and you have that situation, task, action, result. But as part of that, there's a moment of bravery. So I get you to drop that fear-based, what you're scared of, and then introduce you to 6 different pillars of courage. Courage is not just speaking up. Courage is just not physical courage at going to the gym. But courage is that deep thinking, that creativity, that steadfast courage, that emotional, empathetic courage. Introduce you to that, and then help you with changing from fear-based thinking, the false beliefs. I can't do this, you can't do this, we can't do this, and turning that around into what is your leadership purpose? Then creating with you like a courage plan, then helping you build that confidence in you and your team, but also that excellence. And excellence is striving for a good standard that you can maintain and exceed, not perfectionism, which is very good at stopping you from achieving something fantastic.
No, I'm resonating with what you're saying. I'd like to unpack a little bit more about the, courage and whatnot. What has been the most unusual challenge you face when encouraging courage from teams or working with your clients?
500 courageous conversations in 15 minutes.
Wow.
So I trialed a new activity after a courage keynote. You know the childhood game musical chairs? The music stops, you got to run for the chair.
Yeah.
So I introduced this concept called courageous chairs, where there are 100 people in the room, or probably more than 100 people, And it was networking, but with a twist, that you had to start with something courageous about yourself. And then you swap chairs 5 times. So you have 5 rounds of 3 minutes. So you actually start with, this is a great achievement, or this is how I overcame a problem. And then you introduce each other. So it was great fun seeing 500 plus courageous conversations in 15 minutes.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. And what an idea to get people out of their comfort zone.
It was just,
I think
it was interesting from round to round, because you saw the confidence build in the room. You saw the conversations, especially people who might be not as confident as they feel they are, but round 3 and round 4, they were running. They were like, I want to speak with this person next. So you felt the confidence in the room build. And for me, that was the most special thing, seeing that courage and confidence in action.
I love that. I love that. So, that's not just one-to-one. That's one-to-many. That's impacting en masse. Well done. Yeah. Great stuff. And, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, those that have come before us. Who has been the most influential mentor and why in your life, Martin?
Muhammad Ali.
Oh, here he goes. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Sting like a bee. And my favorite quote of his, it isn't the mountain's head to climb that wear you out. It's the pebble in your shoe. Just love that. For me, for somebody who loves boxing, involved in leader in boxing, all that he achieved inside the ring, but also outside the ring. Just the courage to stand up to racism, the courage just to be who he was and inspire many. For me, that's why he's my mentor. If I could borrow the TARDIS and go back in time, he would be the person I would say, can I have 15 minutes of your time, please?
Oh, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Rumble, one man rumble. Whoa. What lessons would you share for young leaders or professionals starting their career, my friend?
Don't worry. Be courageous. Stop stressing. It will be okay. Make mistakes. Learn. Everything you failed has led you to your success right now.
I love that. I love that. And ending on a high note or a somber note or a cathartic note, when all is said and done, how would Mr. Martin Stark, the courage champion, like to be remembered?
That I made a difference in solving one of the biggest problems in sport, which is homophobia. Mm-hmm. And the words that people use to describe me, the 3 words are inspirational, courageous, and resilient, is that I help people inspire, be courageous, and resilient.
I absolutely love that, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on, mon ami. Where can people find you? Where are you hanging out the most? I've got your link to your book and your website here, but where can people get in contact, my friend?
You can get in contact with me on my website, martinstark.co, in my book, Courage Your Right Hook. And like you, Cullen, I spend far too much time on LinkedIn because that's where I meet amazing people and have great conversations.
I love the link. Very, very good, my friend. Well, you guys heard it here first. Subscribe to this man's channel. Follow on LinkedIn, Instagram, and otherwise. And be sure to grab his book, The Courage Champion. Keep an eye out for the other. When's the other book coming out? Your second book, my friend?
That's going to be sometime next year. So I won't finish writing it until the 31st of December. And it's probably going to take me about 3 or 4 months to edit because it's very badly written. But that's the thing with the diary. It's your words. So it'll be sometime next year.
Absolutely. You can't edit a blank page, so at least you've got a full manuscript to edit, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
Exactly.
Well done. Thanks so much,
for your time,
Martin.
everybody.
We'll bring you back for some bonus questions. Appreciate it, Martin. You're a good man. And if you would like to be on the Live with Cullen Haynes show, you've got a message you want to get out. We come out every Wednesday with one of our 3 shows, The Law Live for Lawyers, Ledger Legends for Accountants, and Live with Cullen Haynes from all-round legends in any profession, adding value to the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. Brought to you by Legal Home Loans and Accounting Home Loans, Australia's only mortgage broking service for both lawyers and accountants. And of course, my Laws of LinkedIn book, 23 Laws to Find Your Tribe, Build Your Following, and Make 7 Figures on LinkedIn. Do me a favor, get it on Amazon or give me a cheeky follow and subscribe to this podcast. Bye for now, everyone. Thank you so much and take care. Bringing you back, Mr. Martin Stark. I've got some bonus questions for you. How would you explain what you do to a child, making it very simple? What is it you do every day?
I help people become brave.
I love that. And you do. And you do. Brave like a lion, brave like a tiger. How would your team or your colleagues describe you, sir?
They describe me as cheeky, and it comes back to the 3 words I mentioned before. They will say I was inspirational, courageous, and resilient. And the guy who was able to throw the ceremonial opening pitch for the Chicago Cubs in front of 1 million people watching, I'll have a claim to fame. I can throw a baseball better than Conor McGregor.
Wow. That would have been amazing, mate. Well done. And look, we talked about going into the TARDIS, but going back in your own life, you know, the 30 years you've been on this earth. So happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
If you could go back in time and give yourself advice at any age, what age would you be? So when would you go back in time and talk to yourself? And what would the specific advice you'd give young Martin Stark?
The age would be either 12 or 13, and it would have been as a scared gay teenager when the biggest news, and even it made politics and parliament, was a character on the soap opera EastEnders kissing another man on the forehead at the height of the HIV/AIDS crisis. So it would be who you are, life will be amazing. Just have your journey until you're ready to be courageous and be you. But do that. Came out when I was 27. I wish I'd had the courage to do so earlier. So it would be not to listen to the pain and the fear, but be you, but be me, be fully me at an earlier age of my life than I came out.
Empowering, my friend, empowering. You're doing a lot for your community there, Monterey, and I'm sure a lot of people would get a value from that message today. So be sure to follow Martin Stark. Again, his book is available. I've got it in the show notes, and keep an eye out for his new book coming out next year. It is due to be finished on the 31st of December. That'll be a nice New Year's treat. Thanks so much again, Martin. You're an absolute inspiration, sir.
No, brilliant. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Cullen.
Hey there, Cullen Haynes here, Australia's leading broker for lawyers on LinkedIn, and here's why I want to talk to you today about my book, my new book, The Laws of LinkedIn, 23 ways to find your tribe, build your following, and make 7 figures on LinkedIn. When I started this journey 7 years ago, when we built, myself and Andrew, my business partner, we built Legal Home Loans from the ground up, the pain point for us was we were at a standing start. No one knew who we were. We had no money, we had no contacts, and basically we had to find a way to make our voice heard, talk to our tribe, the legal community, and build trust. And the only thing we had at our disposal was LinkedIn, which was and still is free. There's over 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and I wish when I started, I had this book with me to guide me, because I basically distilled my 23 top leading hacks that we use to build our business to a 7+ figure, and I really want to get it out there and share it with you. So if you're back